My name is Jenna Mitchell, and I'm the Pennsylvania State Director at the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. The Alliance works throughout the Chesapeake Bay watershed to restore the lands and waters that flow into the Chesapeake Bay, and we work with communities, conservationists, and companies to do that work. We have a wonderful partnership with Turkey Hill Dairy and Maryland, Virginia Milk Producers Cooperative Association to support the farmers that belong to Maryland, Virginia, and supply milk to Turkey Hill Dairy. And when we first set out to find some farmers in need of support, the Landises were at the top of that list. They have a great relationship with the co-op, and they had some goals that they needed, a little bit more funds for in order to complete. It's wonderful. Dairy farmers, they are in a tough place right now, and I think anything that we can do to help them achieve their goals and, be the stewards of the land that they want to be is a win. The Alliance tries really, really hard. My number one job is to try to bring funding to the table because we can't ask these guys to do something that we're not going to help pay for. The economy's tough right now, and I think we're just really, really glad that we've been able to bring funding to the table to help all of us achieve our collective goals. Right now, it's been really wonderful for the Alliance to support dairy farmers. It's a really tough time. Economy is tough, and it's been really fantastic to be able to bring funding to the table to help farmers be the stewards of the land that they all truly do want to be. So we've been really excited to be able to fund, anywhere from 50% to, in some cases, we can pull a couple different pots of funding and fund 100% of the work that these farmers want to do to lessen their impact on local waterways. Just about 4 years ago now, I met the former president of Turkey Hill Dairy, named John Cox, at a Businesses for the Bay forum that the Alliance convenes to bring together leadership in business interested in, lessening their impact on our local waterways and ultimately the Chesapeake Bay. And we were talking about how bad water quality is in Lancaster County, which it's really, really, really bad. More than half of our streams are impaired, which means that 70% of the life that should be in that stream can no longer exist there. And John was really taken aback by that fact and expressed interest in, doing anything that Turkey Hill might be able to do to get involved. And that was something that we weren't going to back away from. We became very interested in having conversations with him. And at one point I asked him if he knew how many of the farmers that supplied milk to Turkey Hill had a conservation plan or were implementing those practices. And he didn't have an answer for that, but 2 weeks later, I got some rough draft language that he was going to include in his new contract that he was bidding out that would require that and then offer financial support to do so from Turkey Hill. So the rest is history. That was the real turning point, and from that the Alliance was able to get various grant funds. To date we have about $2 million in funds, and Maryland, Virginia responded to that bid positively, and we created a partnership, this wonderful partnership between Maryland, Virginia Co-op and their farmers, Turkey Hill Dairy, and the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay. From the Alliance's perspective as the environmental organization, I think we need to always remain curious. I think we need to seek to understand. We need to be very good listeners and not assume that, we know the right thing to do. So when we first started talking with Turkey Hill, we asked them a lot of questions about what their goals might be and how we might be able to support them. And then once we activated our partnership between Maryland, Virginia Co-op and Turkey Hill Dairy, we started asking the farmers, what do you need help with? What are your goals? So I think, the environmental, the conservation organization remaining curious and really seeking solutions that work for all parties is really number one. And then I really think, optimism, positivity, and strong communication are also very, very important. We have a lot of fun between Maryland, Virginia, and Turkey Hill. We've got, monthly, sometimes it feels like daily calls between all of us to make sure that we're achieving our goals. And we're always smiling, we're always having a good time, and, keeping positive and just really, really grateful for the work that we're able to do together. Yeah, so the wonderful thing about working with the dairy co-ops is that they already have an established relationship. In many cases, it's for many, many years with their farmers. So we're able to tie right into those existing relationships and, find farmers that they know have certain goals underway or certain challenges that they're wrestling with. In the Turkey Hill Clean Water Partnership instance, we started immediately working with their field staff and tried to lean on their field staff probably put a little bit too much conservation work and responsibility on the field staff. And so the incredible thing about Maryland-Virginia Co-op is they've now created a sustainability team. They now have 4 people specifically focused on these sustainability goals with their farmers, talking with their farmers, building goals with their farmers, surveying their farmers about their needs, and then they bring that information back to the Alliance for the Chesapeake Bay, and we're able to take that to grant funders, take that to different technical service providers to try to leverage all of the different resources out there to support these farmers. I think the Landis family is just such an incredible family. I think that unfortunately a lot of America doesn't quite understand the reality of farming, or they have different concepts of what's good farming and what's bad farming. And I think that the Landises break those stereotypes and really show how good farming is, and how smart you need to be in order to be a farmer, how much heart there is in farming. I think that they're just the epitome of what I'd love America to learn about the reality of dairy farming. So more immediate is we'd love to be able to find funding to get all of the farmers that supply to Turkey Hill the dollars that they need to implement their practices. That way they've got their conservation plan in and it's fully implemented, and they're really don't have much of an impact whatsoever on local water quality. In fact, maybe they're benefiting local water quality, and providing habitat, et cetera. More long-term and bigger picture, I'd love for the way that Turkey Hill and Maryland-Virginia Co-op operates to become, the industry standard. I'd love for, the momentum that we've built out of the Turkey Hill Clean Water Partnership, to become so big that it's how the Chesapeake Bay operates, it's how the country operates, and maybe it's even beyond the country. I think that from the conversations that we've been having with, dairy distributors, I think that when they learn what things are like on the ground, they want to play a role. They want to help make things better, make their farmers' lives easier, but also, improve agriculture's impact on water quality. And I hope that doesn't stop in dairy. And I hope it really just spreads throughout the agricultural industry and becomes the new conservation, a new standard of conservation throughout the agricultural industry. A conservation plan lays out, exactly what's happening on the farm, where you might have challenges with manure, where you might have challenges with soil, and helps build a framework for how the farmer can and hopefully will tackle those issues. So it's really the first step in, the conservation journey of, taking care of the soil and the manure on your farm to lessen your impact on local water quality. Yeah, so the conservation plan will lay out which practices are needed, or maybe, how operations might need to shift a little bit, what crop rotations, or, direction you're tilling your field. It really just lays out, how the farm optimally, should be operated. Chris and Laura are really leaders in many ways, and they had a lot of practices underway, but they had 2 remaining goals, which was updating their heifer barn and also their calf barn, that they couldn't quite get implemented yet. And luckily the Alliance, through the Turkey Hill Clean Water Partnership, was able to provide funds to get them support in stabilizing, getting some stabilized cover for how they house their calves and their heifers. So that really the biggest benefit out of that is manure management. So they now have, a clean, easy surface that they can manage their manure and get their manure into, the manure storage facility without their stormwater being mixed with their manure.